day. Pretty much similar. I don't wanna hear your thoughts.
Okay, Jürgen, how do you feel 1 to 10?
Like 10, but also I'm like done for the day actually.
I'm done for the week.
Yeah.
I'm done for the month. Guys, this was my October workout. I think the class was a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, so absolutely. I even gave you a fist bump.
Yeah, I could. I was just out of it. Like sometimes the instructor yelled at me and I was out of it. But honestly, it was good. And what was really good is that nobody was watching me, so my gym anxiety was for nothing, except the instructor wasn't there. So the instructor was like, okay, 7, 8, 9, but I stuck to my 6 speed. And also I was so worried that I will look stupid because everybody's so fit and I'm not fit. But the trick is just wear a slay gym fit. I don't care if I seem unfit because I look slay.
In the end, I didn't even
Yeah, nobody pays attention.
do the exercise.
Also, I really love when it gets really dark.
Yeah. Dude, I accidentally once put the speed on 14. I was like, whoa.
Whoa. Highly recommend. Also, let me know which other classes we should try in New York. Another day, another me and you. You and me. It got so cold in New York. I don't think this is okay. Because as far as I know, I did not allow it. I know. I know you want to come. Ah, I washed my hair, by the way. Oh my god, I also went to Barry's. Guys, I went to Barry's for the first time in my life and I liked it. Weird.
Okay, let's go.
You know what's awesome? Healing. I feel like I had a few moments where I was like, this is healed. It's my favorite thing in the world. And you know why? Because I've had moments where, you know, I'm journaling, I'm doing therapy, and I feel like I have this creative block. And I feel like I struggle with expressing myself in a way that feels very authentic, but also creative. And I have this like impossible standard for myself. And I feel like I healed this part a little bit where I gave myself permission to not meet the impossible expectations that I have. Because one thing that I struggle with is that I kind of see myself as an artist. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, you're an influencer. Where's the artistry? But to be honest, taking photos and creating this like feeling, and it's also part what made me successful in the industry. But to me, it's an art, and I feel like I had moments where my artistry was very self-expressive. Like it felt very real and I felt creative. I had that momentum of creative self-expression. And I feel like I lost that a little bit. I talked about this a few times. One thing that I struggle with is that, you know, when I was starting out, it was the Wild West. There were no rules. And I found like my way of doing things. And I've been doing this for almost 10 years. So obviously you need to evolve. You need to grow, mature, but also me reaching a certain point in my career as a creator and in the industry. I cannot just do anything because it is my job. And there's a certain professionalism that's expected of me. I cannot just come online and do what, like I cannot be unhinged, right? So there is this part that requires me to be professional, commercial, and to be honest, show up every day. And that's something I struggled with because sometimes I would disappear from social media because I was so dissatisfied with the content that I put out. And I had these crazy expectations to myself where I wanted to meet that like professional, commercial part with my artistic, self-expressive part. And sometimes they meet. Sometimes I have a streak of like, oh, I feel like this feels very true to me. I'm very satisfied with my work. And a lot of times I am not. And sometimes I would just like to be very random. And again, I have certain limitations. And I know what you're gonna say. You're like, look, Xenia, you don't have limitations. You can do whatever you want. But I think at the point where I am, of course I could do what I want. But it just wouldn't be a good look. And I have reached a certain status or positioning where now I need to keep evolving, but not in a random way, but in a very thoughtful way. I don't know if that makes sense. But basically, I really struggled with this concept of how do I evolve with my content? And I'm sure if you like follow me on all the platforms that there are, you can feel when I'm having these like random moments where I'm just like putting whatever out and it feels so, I just feel like a headless chicken, okay? And that's when I feel very dissatisfied with my work. I know how lucky I am to have the platform and how lucky I am with my work, etc. And yes, that is true. But for me, like authentic self-expression is everything. And that's where I feel like I'm a true artist. Yeah? Oh, I was gonna get ready and then I just ended up talking too much. Let me know if you guys get what I'm saying or if it sounds like a bunch of nonsense, because we will continue this conversation later. But basically, I realized that I need to change my attitude when it comes to my creation and be okay that some parts are commercial and it's not always super artistic and super brilliant and creative. And that's okay. Do you believe in love, Adonts? Na, 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 na. Ready? Yeah. I had a few more thoughts on the whole like artistry topic, and I was actually thinking that it applies to all of us. Wait, sorry guys, I don't like this little beauty mistake. Okay, now it's better. Because, so I remember somebody wrote a comment and this person was like, I'm actually not so sure about AI. I'm worried that it will take all the jobs. And I think that machines will take the machine jobs. And I strongly believe that eventually, and I don't know if it's gonna happen like sooner than later or later than sooner, we will enter the age of creative expression. And I believe that art and self-expression will be more and more important for every human being on this planet. And I actually believe that everybody has creativity inside of them. Even if you say you're not a creative person, you have something inside of you that wants to be expressed. And the question is, how do you express yourself? Like, are you a writer, or do you like photography? Or there's also self-expression in like gatherings, like groups. Maybe you like to host and think of like a program to entertain people, or like theater or painting, or there are like literally so many art forms, and I think there will be even more art forms that we don't know about yet. I believe that this will be fundamental for the future. I also predict that in the future, and we already see this trend a little bit, right? Everybody's like, oh my god, the creator industry, it's oversaturated, it will die out. Thank god nobody's asking me anymore what I will do once the whole influencer thing stops. Literally my most asked question like 5 years ago. I believe that we will just have more and more and more creators. If you look at the numbers, the influencer market will just grow so much more. And I don't think there will be like a lot of massive influencers. I mean, they will always be there. I believe that everybody becomes a creator in one way or the other. And it will become so normal for everybody to like express yourself and show your work on social media. And I'm not saying that's like a good or bad thing, and I'm sure there will be people who will not be on social media, not show their art, maybe not even go into art, but I think the overall direction will go this way. So I feel like the whole topic of artistry and self-expression, it doesn't apply to just people like me, it applies to everybody. And that's why I've been thinking about this so much. And I think it's something, for example, when I feel like I have a creative crisis, I feel like I'm savage hunting. Is that how you say it? Like I'm in this forest and I'm looking for the gold, and there's like a few pieces of gold, but they're very hidden. So I need to like look around, search, go new ways, I'm hunting. And I love this part because just to give you like a more concrete example, right? So my YouTube videos. So I started with YouTube. I restarted with YouTube in December. And I feel like my evolution has been maybe a little bit of evolution where I feel more confident in front of the camera. Sometimes my content is better, sometimes it's not. But I'm still like in the phase of finding my style. And right now, I feel okay with YouTube. I'm sure it could be better. Like it could be more structured, it could be more but I am still finding my style. And I can go in so many different ways. Even this video from today is slightly different than my typical vlogs or like my typical content. So like there are so many things that I can do on YouTube. And I also don't have to be just one thing, but I think it's very, very exciting and interesting to look for what is my biggest creative expression, where do I connect with people the most, and where I bring value. And one realization that I had is that value is not only made by like depth, because that was quite heavy for me, right? Like I love going deep. Okay, I love going deep, but if my content would just be deep, I don't think people would enjoy it. Like I don't even enjoy deep content. You know what I mean? Like I actually do enjoy light content. There was a big realization for me where I was like, oh my god, I can only bring value if I go so deep, and I can only talk about like life and its meaning. No, I can also talk about fashion or beauty or hair, superficial things. Like that's totally cool. That's a good example. And once you have a creative outlet, it's so fun to find your voice. It's also very frustrating and painful. Some people get very lucky. They immediately hit it off. Most of us, we need to search. We need to search to find our voice, our thing. And the part that's like, is that it doesn't stop. You cannot just find your thing, your creative voice, and that's it. You need to evolve. You need to go with the time, with the zeitgeist, with your like current position in life, etc. So this game that we're playing of finding our creative voice, it keeps repeating and repeating and repeating, and it gets so frustrating, but also it's really worthwhile. And just about YouTube, I was thinking like 5 days ago or something, I was like, what the fuck am I doing? This is so stupid. Why am I doing Vlogtober? I'm not getting better at my vlogs. Like I'm not improving. There's no movement forward. But that's a wrong way of thinking, because every step is a step forward. Even if you feel like you're not changing the scenery, like you're not moving forward, even if it doesn't feel like it, then 2 days ago or something, like I don't even know, but I then had the realization, maybe I am getting a little bit better. And maybe the process is very, very, very slow. And that's okay. That was a big realization. Just sitting here, realizing things. Okay, now I have to clean up. Speaking of, guys, what do you want to see more of? While we're here, while we're having this talk, I think now we have like 2 weeks left. So, it's less than 2 weeks. So what do you want to see for the remaining time in New York?